What's up, everybody? Welcome to the POVincent podcast here on the River's Edge Online Radio Network. I'm your host, Vincent Tiniano, giving you my point of view on movies. And with me, of course, is my friend and co-host, the Film Fatale, Jay.
Hello.
So Jay, last week we finished up the Evil Dead series, and also
we did
finishing up the spooky month of October with it. So if you are an Evil Dead fan and you're listening or watching, go check out those episodes. We went through from Evil Dead to Army of Darkness. Yeah. We did not cover the remake or reboot, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more of a reboot than a remake. Because
I haven't seen it.
At least.
I just.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's definitely not good.
But now, because it's November, it is the month of Thanksgiving, and because I think I'm funny, we're going to watch and go through the Hunger Games. Yes, this film franchise is what kicked off the YA novel adaptation series of movies.
Did it come out before the Twilight movies? Or did they come out around the same time? Because the books came out around the same time.
Okay, let me rephrase that.
I know this because these books were part of the Scholastic Reading Competition. Which I did all 4 years of high school because I'm a fucking nerd. But I know the books came out together, so I wouldn't be surprised if the movies came out around the same time too.
Well, let me go back and rephrase that.
Okay.
I don't even know it. When I said YA, what I really meant was the series of YA post-apocalyptic dystopian novels. Is what I really meant, because I don't think of Twilight very often anymore.
No, that's fair. I have never seen the Twilight films, so.
I have.
But I'm familiar with the books, and I also read The Hunger Games.
Yeah.
At least the first book.
Apart from the action sequences, I really don't have many good things to say about the Twilight films. But honestly, I did enjoy some of the action sequences.
I didn't miss anything. That's good.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, because after this, you had Divergent come out. You had the Maze Runner series. All did well. All did well in their own right. But I think the Hunger Games is still like on the top of that YA dystopian mountain there, because you also had a bunch of ones that just died
and
immediately.
weren't great or like rememberable.
What was that one with Chloe Grace Moretz? Was it The Seventh Wave or something like that? An alien invasion one. The Third Wave?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know. I feel bad for Chloe Grace Moretz because I liked her as an actress, but
yeah, I like her as an actress, but that wasn't a good film because I don't remember.
Yeah, in fact, the last movie I saw her in was, I can't remember what it's called, but she gets involved with this woman who becomes like a motherly figure to her, and then turns out this woman's a psycho bitch that kidnaps young women.
Oh, no.
Because her real daughter, like, left her because she's fucking crazy, and now she's kidnapping young women to...
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I did a review on it, like, when it came out 2 years ago or something, but it was so forgettable and just weirdly structured. I don't know if it was based on the book, but whoever structured the story, and
it's
then
just weird.
Yeah, and then the end of the movie, spoiler alert for everyone who knows the movie I'm talking about, she doesn't beat the kidnapped woman. She's defeated. She's locked up. She's tried multiple times to get out, but she's defeated. And her bitchy friend who warned her in the beginning of the movie, like, don't go near her. That bitch is crazy. Her bitchy friend that's like stuck up her own ass comes in and saves her.
Wow.
And you don't rob the main character of regaining their freedom, and that's exactly what the fuck happened. So, and I don't know why I'm getting stuck on this, because we got to talk about a movie that is enjoyable.
It is enjoyable. It has a great cast. I'm always surprised by all of who is in this film.
Yeah.
There's so many familiar faces.
Yeah.
Should I?
Oh yeah, go give us the trivia download. Tell us about who this movie.
Should I just jump in? All right,
just do it.
Jump into the Hunger Games.
It
was released in 2012. Gary Ross is the director. It's produced by Nina Jacobson and John, I think it's Killick. It's Kylick or Killick.
You got me.
Yeah. But it's based on the book by Suzanne Collins. And Suzanne Collins actually did write the screenplay for the movie. And I'm a huge fan Well, let me put it this way. I am typically not a huge fan of like movie adaptations of books unless the author is the screenwriter. Because if you have the author directly involved, like 9 times out of 10, it's incredible. And this is definitely a series that stayed true to the books because you had the book writer working on it, I think.
Oh yeah, so it's always helpful when you have the creator involved in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, great cast. Jennifer Lawrence plays Katniss Everdeen. We have Josh Hutcherson, who plays the character of Peeta. Liam Hemsworth plays Gale Hawthorne. Elizabeth Banks plays Effie Trinket, which I love the name. Woody Harrelson is in this movie, which is like probably the person that always, like when I saw this, surprised me the most for some reason. He plays Hamish Abernathy.
Yeah.
And then Donald Sutherland plays the president of Panam.
I think. Wait, is it Panam? I thought it was Pan Am.
Pan Am? Okay, cool.
I thought it was
Pan Am.
Panam.
Panam.
President of Panam.
And then Willow Shields plays Jennifer Lawrence's sister, Primrose Everdeen.
Primrose, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, let's just talk about not even necessarily the characters, but such a great cast. I mean, I've been a big fan of Jennifer Lawrence for many years now. I think she's a great actress. Just this last week, me and my girlfriend, we watched Silver Linings Playbook, which I hadn't watched in years, and still a really good movie. Nice, good love story. Has mostly genuine depictions of people with mental illness. It tries to be very honest. Still a good movie. And Jennifer Lawrence, she was great in it, along with Bradley Cooper, who's also I love Bradley Cooper. I think he's a very talented guy. But yeah, and this is her like when she was like, she just got noticed for doing Winter's Bone. She was at the Oscars, which she made huge headlines in that very tight red dress. Very simple red dress, but then she got this, and she started, did the X-Men stuff, and she did so many movies. American Hustle, which I actually have right over there in my closet.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's another one I got to rewatch because I really enjoyed that one too. Not everyone liked it, but I did. And then you also got the great Stanley Tucci being one of the biggest douchebags.
Oh yeah, Stanley Tucci is in this.
Stanley Tucci, he's so great.
Anytime I hear Stanley Tucci now, my brain automatically goes to the clip from it's a British talk show. Stanley Tucci is a wine expert, and someone in an interview asked him what wine would pair best with a butthole. And it is Stanley's reaction is adorable. So if you're ever having a really bad day and you just want to laugh, just look up Stanley Tucci wine.
Is it on the Graham Norton show?
It is on the Graham Norton show.
Okay,
yeah.
And I only know
exactly who it's on.
That show's just famous enough where I see like videos and memes of it all the time.
The shit that he asks his hosts or his guests, it's really funny.
Well, that's what makes it great, because in Britain it's not as bad as it is over here. Some of the way they say things.
Honestly, Great Britain, their comedies are my absolute favorites. I watch the Great Big Quiz Show every year, where they just make fun of celebrities and they ask them questions. I can't fucking wait to see this year. Anyway, back to the Hunger Games.
Yeah, and as you brought up earlier, oh man, my brain's blanking. My brain is blanking. My brain is blanking. Shit, damn it. Woody Harrelson. Yes. Woody Harrelson was like, for many years, Woody Harrelson was an actor. I don't know how to describe him. He's the type of everyone knew, everyone liked him. He's probably, for me, he was, he was in Cheers, everyone's favorite kind of like simple guy, bartender, humble dude, but it's kind of dumb. And, but everyone knew he could act. But sometime starting, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, all of a sudden people are like, oh, holy shit, Woody Harrelson can really act. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, he started taking on some like edgier roles and doing extremely well in them. And I think people saw that he is a very versatile actor. Like, I'm really excited to see him in the next Venom film.
Oh, right, he's playing Carnage. I'm excited too, not only because it's him, but from what I've seen from set photos, he's not going to wear that dumbass fucking wig he was wearing at the end of the
film. Yeah, that was so dumb.
I was like, I remember I saw that movie
we were all like, what?
I was holding back laughter because it's supposed to be this really crazy cool moment. It's like, it's going to be Carnage, all right? But he's wearing this wig, and I'm like, you look like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons.
You just look strange.
I couldn't get over it. Like, I know the character's hair kind of looks like that in the comics, but that was too much. But yeah, anyway, Woody Harrelson, he's really, True Detective, that was another big boost for him. And if you haven't seen it, just overall, fantastic film with great acting. 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. He was really good in that.
Oh, yeah, that movie's really, really good.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, all right. Well, we'll get on with all the actors and their characters go. But first, quick plot synopsis for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Hunger Games. Basically, somewhere in a dystopian future, a dystopian world. I'm always unsure whether this is like a future thing or an alternate history thing.
I don't think it's actually. I can't remember if it's actually established. So either or, like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. But anyway, there's a future where the continent or country of Panem is broken up into multiple districts. You have the capital where all the money is, and if you live in the capital, you're rich, you're wealthy, you're privileged, life is easy, you get all the best medicine. But if you live in one of the other districts, you are dirt poor, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And all the other districts work to keep the capital thriving and good and beautiful and clean.
And
some of the districts
there's 12 of them.
There's 12 of them.
There used to be 13.
There used to be 13, but then they turned that into the mezzanine district to keep things cool. That was a bad joke, anyway. Because each district, one district is like a farming district, one's a mining district, and the mining district is District 12, where we meet Katniss Everdeen. And the thing is, once a year they have this event called the Hunger Games, where each district offers up one young man and one young woman to compete in the Hunger Games, in which they are put in a giant arena.
And they're going to fight to the death.
Fight to the death on live national television. And whichever kid's last standing, their district gets extra supplies and food for the year until next year's Hunger Games, in which it starts all over again. And we have Jennifer Lawrence's character, Katniss Everdeen, who is who's a female competitor for District 12, along with the male competitor, Peta.
And she's not chosen. They actually choose her little sister, but she volunteers as tribute, which is like the famous line from this particular film.
Yes.
She volunteers to take her sister's place. And so, her and Peta are selected to join the Hunger Games.
Let's talk first about Jennifer Lawrence, who, once again, I'm a big fan of. I think she's fantastically talented. The only thing I would hold against her is that she was in her, at the time, boyfriend's movie Mother, which...
You aren't a fan of Mother? I think Mother is wild. I fucking love how just ridiculous that movie is.
I think... Listen, I get it artistically. Artistically, there's a lot of great stuff in it.
Yeah.
But as a film where you sit down and listen, and don't get me wrong, when I say something is enjoyable and entertaining, I don't mean sunshine and rainbows and puppy dogs and all that. But I saw some shit in that film, and I remember I was like,
it goes places.
It goes. Well, anyway, and I'm not going to go there because I there's so much I want to say about that film. But we're not talking about that film. We're talking about the Hunger Games. So Katniss Everdeen is our main protagonist. She's an archer. She goes hunting in the woods, which apparently is illegal. She's not supposed to do it. But because of this, she is very skilled with a bow and arrow. She's not a very social type of person. She's pretty antisocial. And that's because she pretty much takes care of both her sister and her mom, not because her mom's like super ill or she has some kind of handicap. Apparently, her mom, after Katniss's father died, her mom went into a deep depression, just shut down, and she had to grow up quickly. And so she kind of like missed out on her.
She just takes care of things now.
She takes care of things, and yeah, she bravely volunteers as tribute to save her younger sister. And Katniss is an interesting protagonist because she's a little, like I said, she's a little antisocial. She doesn't really have a lot of friends. The only friend she seems to have is Gale, played by Liam Neeson, and there's indicated that there is a love romantic thing kind of going on there. Not it's hinted at. It's never hinted at. Yeah, I would say it's pretty safe that Gale probably completely digs her, but Katniss is not completely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just completely put it out there that the only major issue that I ever had with the Hunger Games is that there are love interests in a dystopian future where children are fighting to the death, because who the fuck has time for that? Like, it's just completely unrealistic that these children who are literally fighting to survive are gonna be worried about some dick. Like, you're gonna die. You might die. This is like
that's the best time. That's the best time to get dick or to offer dick.
I guess.
If I'm about to go into an arena and I like and I'm like and I've got to like fight off like 11 other people plus genetically engineered super animals, I'm gonna look to the other tribute and be like, listen, I know I'm not your first pick, but I am your only pick.
If it's our last night left, but it's just bizarre. Like, Gale and Katniss make a little more sense because they're like initially friends or whatever. Yeah. So at first I'm like, all right, this is whatever. But like her and Peeta is just weird to me. I guess it works out.
It works out. It works out through the course of the film. If it was just this one film, no. But Peeta being a recurring character throughout the other films, and we'll get to that. Yeah, after this first film, no. Friendship, yes. But anyway, yeah. So Katniss's journey through this film is interesting because once again, she's not a social person, and for the poor people of the 12 districts, the Hunger Games is this thing they have to endure because, like, 100 years ago, there was a rebellion against the Capitol. The other districts lost, and now this is their punishment to keep them in line. But for the Capitol, if you're living in the Capitol, this is the show to watch every year. Fun. People bet on it. They have their favorite players. It's American Idol, drenched in blood, and it's and
everybody loves it.
Yeah, and you can, and just like in like real entertainment, you can get sponsors and stuff. But in order to get sponsors, you got to get people to like you. And Katniss is not a very,
she's not very likable at first.
Yeah.
Or kind of ever, depending on how you look at it.
Well, that's something I do want to bring up in the later films, but
like in this film in particular, and as you said, like she is a very antisocial character, but she also shows a lot of empathy towards certain people.
Yeah.
It is unexpected. So she's like a toss-up. And some people like it, and a lot, like, she makes a lot of enemies for it though too.
Yeah,
because a lot of her actions are seen as a rebellion. Yeah,
when she's just doing what's right to her moral code. She's not, she honestly doesn't give a shit. She doesn't want to like overthrow the Capitol or anything, but she just doesn't. She just hates the whole situation. So, before we move on to any characters, I want to talk a little bit about the Capitol and the people who live there. I really love the ridiculous, super colorful costume designs.
The costume designs in this film are phenomenal.
Yes.
They're really good.
Yeah. You don't have to get to know anybody who lives in the Capitol. You just have to look at them, the way they're dressed, their makeup, and immediately you're like, this person is a tool. I automatically hate you just by the way you're dressed. I know everything I need to know about you just by the way you're dressed. You lavish, luxurious, taking for granted sons of bitches. Like, really good stuff there. I just, because they're all like, got so many people got like these poofy hair and this wild makeup and the very colorful clothing. Everything's glitz and glam. You literally have an entire city of people who are style over substance. These people are just, it's really good. Because usually style over substance is a bad thing, but with this, no, it's good. It's visual storytelling. Because the only real citizens of the capital we really get to know kind of Stanley Tucci's character. I mean, he's the host. He's the host, so he's putting on a thing. You get to know, what's Elizabeth Banks' name? What's her name?
Effie Trinket.
Effie Trinket. You get to know her because she's like there.
And even the names that like Effie Trinket.
Yeah. And then you get
super name.
Wes Bentley's character, Seneca Crane, who's running the Hunger Games. It's like his 3rd or 4th year running the Hunger Games. And he's got that ridiculous, like, curly, like, curl-carved, hi, Catsby. I see Catsby in your video feed right now.
Yes.
But anyway, Crane's got that ridiculous beard of his. That's, like, very stuff. So it looks like an ornate, like gate, like an iron gate to the front of a mansion, like the designs.
It looks like it looks like one of those beards that someone would enter into a beard contest.
Yeah,
because they have those.
Yeah,
and yeah, I think that would win.
Yeah. The only person that is, oddly enough, that is not super over the top dressed up is Donald Sutherland's character, the president. He's actually pretty normal looking, but he just exudes, I'm the dominant one here.
I honestly think that that's probably intentional because
agreed.
Yeah, they wouldn't want the president to look a certain way because they want him to seem sympathetic to everyone and not just those at the top, even though he's at the top. Yeah. So that's why they would probably have him in more plain.
Oh, totally.
Attire.
Plus, if he was dressed up like Effie or Stanley Tucci's character, or even Crane, who's running the Hunger Games, he's the ultimate villain of the series, and there's no way you could take him seriously if he looked like that.
No, exactly.
Yeah, he's old school because he's an older guy. He's probably just like, he's the older guy that doesn't get into like exactly the biggest fashions. He doesn't need to. He's in charge. So who's the fuck going to challenge him? No one's going to go right up to him. It's like, you got to put purple makeup around your eyes. No one's going to fucking do that. But yeah, no, okay. I just want to talk about the Capitol real quick because I mean, even the shots where like they're entering the city on the train, everything's nice and clean and white and pristine, and like
it's a really good juxtaposition.
Yeah.
In comparison to other places.
Yeah. Okay. Jay, is there any character you would like to talk about next? I mean, I know who I want to talk about next, but I feel like I want to give you.
Who do you want to talk about next?
Oh, I just want to briefly talk about Peter real quick because he's the other main character, basically.
I do. Catsby, you're on my notes. I do like Josh Hutcherson's performance in this. I can't think of another film that I've seen him in though to compare his performance to, and that's my own fault. Like, I'm sure he's in other films, but for some reason this is the one that I know him for.
I hate to say this because this isn't a good film, but I watched it just a couple years ago. In Cirque du Freak, the vampire's assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, he plays the best friend that ends up as like the rival. This was like several years before that, so he was noticeably younger. And thank God that bombed, because if that had, if that had gained just enough success to warrant sequels, he wouldn't have been in this movie.
Yeah, he wouldn't have been in this film, and he is really good in this film.
Yeah. You totally see that Peta is this young guy who's good-hearted. He's got this gentle guy, but he's just got zero, like, he's kind of self-hating. He's got severe self-esteem issues.
Yeah, he does.
And he's kind of this, like, interesting counterbalance to Katniss, in the sense that, like, once again, Katniss is very rough around the edges. I mean, she doesn't even want to really, like, not play the game, like Archie doesn't want to play the Hunger Games. So I'm talking about, like,
nobody wants to play the Hunger Games.
She doesn't want to do interviews. She doesn't want to get dressed up. Peta,
she's not there for the pageantry of it. She's there to survive.
No. And Peta, like, he doesn't really care about it, but if it can help him at all. Well, really, if it can help him help Katniss, he's all about it. He'll be in interviews. He'll tell jokes. He'll try to be charming.
Yeah.
He'll make up stories about him and Katniss being in love just to like try to gain favor with the audience, which pisses her off. But yeah, no, he's playing the game for her because he doesn't believe he's got a chance in hell. But Katniss, he has faith in.
Right.
So yeah, which is kind of because Katniss like
it's definitely an interesting dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do eventually kind of grow closer over the course of the film, especially by the end. They're not lovers or anything, which I think is good. If they'd end up lovers,
no. Yeah, much. The way that it ends in this film is good. I guess the only thing that this film doesn't really do a great job of is dragging out that cave scene, because that's like really long in the book, and that's the majority in the book. That's the majority of them bonding is her helping him in the cave. And they kind of just like they have it, but it's kind of skimmed over just a little tiny bit.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things about this film that is interesting in terms of the way things are structured is that the actual beginning of the games, where they enter like the artificial arena that's like a forest.
Mm-hmm.
It's got rivers, it's got fields, it's got trees, all that stuff.
It's got fake animals that'll kill you.
Yeah, genetically engineered devil dogs and what were the bees, like hunter jackers or something like that?
I think that hunter jackets.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like it's like a murder yellow jacket.
Yeah, murder hornets.
It's the murder hornets.
Yeah, fuck you, murder hornets. You think you were cool? Hunger Games was murdering before you even showed the fuck up.
Yeah, true.
But the thing is, the games themselves, the actual games, like the start where they're put into the arena and that's it, it's a free-for-all, doesn't happen until a full hour into the film, which I think most other movies, they would have been in the dome doing it half an hour to 45 minutes in.
This film does a really good job of building up these characters before it throws them in.
Yes.
And a lot of action films don't do that. I think I compared this to Demolition Man a little bit, but that you get more character, growth, and there's more depth to these characters, so you're invested by the time that they're dropped into this death match, and you don't want to lose them.
Yeah. No, it can be such a great benefit to hold off on things sometimes. Like you're thinking Demolition Man, which starts out with a huge action scene and then takes in the rest of the time to like build things up. I'm thinking about John Wick, because John Wick, even though it's like one of the biggest action movies of the past 10 years, there's no action sequence until the half an hour into John Wick. The first half an hour, the first 10 or 15 minutes is just getting to know John. And then the next 10 to 15 minutes is everybody reacting to John and filling the audience in as to who John was earlier in his life. And it's great. You get to know John, and then they build tension, they build the myth, the legend, the scariness of John Wick. And then when he finally fights,
like snaps.
It's like, oh shit, okay, oh wow, oh what, wow, he went boom boom.
See this the whole time.
Yeah. So yeah, Hunger Games. It was a good decision to spend that. I mean, the movie's almost 2.5 hours long. I think it's 2 hours 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it spends that first hour world building up the characters, getting to know everybody, and it was a good decision. And honestly, I'd be surprised if the studio was against it at first, because studios, they like to keep things to that 2 hour mark.
They do,
especially a big budget film like this. Like I know the books were popular, but for them to allow it to be over 2 hours, like it was almost 2.5. I don't know if the studio was okay with it from the beginning, but it was a good decision, and it was risky because this is the first movie. This is the first movie in this series. It paid off.
I feel like when you trim, trimming the fat is just not a good decision with a lot of book series that get turned into films. It's my personal problem with the Harry Potter movies. I hate them. I hate them so much. I stopped watching them in the third film, because the third film basically implies that Professor McGonagall gives Harry the firebolt, and that's
I've heard about this.
Not at fucking all what happens.
Was it serious?
It's serious, and like the broom gets confiscated because they think that he's gonna ride it and it's gonna fucking explode and kill him or something. Like it's bomb. But no, it's just Sirius buys him the firebolt, and there's just fundamental issues with those films because they trimmed it down. This movie, it's under 2.5 hours. And it does a really good job of encompassing a lot of the really important things that happen in the books. Other than that cave scene, that's it. Like I think that's literally the only thing I can think of that was like cut down though. Is just that scene, and it makes sense because you want to keep your audience captivated with the action, and there is a lot of action. Like once you hit off into that action, you want to keep it going. So it does make sense to have that be a little shorter.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. I mean, obviously, once again, we're in territory where you know more about stuff than I do in terms of the books. I mean, I've seen all these movies. I didn't see this one when it came out. I saw it right before the second one came out, and then
okay.
Because I was really like I was a huge Jennifer Lawrence fan. I was like, oh fuck, I better catch up with these films.
Yeah, and with this casting, I feel like even if you weren't familiar with the book series, you would want to watch these films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they're good. This first one is well made. I'd like to talk about Woody Harrelson's character Hamish for a few minutes because Hamish is an interesting character because he is a former Hunger Games victor of District 12.
Yeah. And
former victors go on to be mentors for future victors. So he's
training Katniss and Peeta.
Yeah. And Hamish is a full-blown alcoholic. He is almost constantly consuming some form of alcohol. In fact, the first time we meet him, he is fucking drunk as hell. He's just he barely acknowledges them, these two young people who are scared out of their minds and looking for somebody to tell them how to fight.
Just give them a little bit of comfort. Just be like, it'll be okay. Like, it's not going to be okay. Yeah. But you should probably tell them that. No, he's just blitzed.
Yeah. Eventually, thanks to Peeta like kind of pushes on him to talk to him, and then we see him in the next scene, and they're eating breakfast and talking. And eventually Katniss wins him over because Katniss is just honest with him. She's not screwing around, she's straight fact. She almost stabs him with a fucking knife to get his attention because he's ignoring her, and she's like, no, I could die next week.
Yeah, like, excuse me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Time to survive here. Need your help.
Yeah. The interesting thing about Seamus is he doesn't teach them how to like fighting skill. He doesn't like if this is like something else, like if somebody else had wrote this or this, I could see like he'd teach them like, okay, I'm going to teach you a combination of Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu. Like, no, he just in terms of fighting, all he tells them is like, Katniss, you're very good with a bow. Don't show off your bow skills in front of the other. What's the word? Shit.
I want to say contestants, and that's not the other word.
Right. The
other contestants in the Hunger Game.
I volunteer for tribute. There we go. I have to say the whole line to remember one fucking word. Yeah. The tributes.
Or sacrifice is also another good word.
Yeah, sacrifice. Yeah.
Sacrifice.
We'll try to stick with the lingo, but we'll probably screw it up. But yeah, he said, don't show off your bow skills in front of the other tributes. Don't let them know that because she is very accurate with her bow. Peeta, he doesn't really have any weapon skills, but he is very strong because he works at his mom's bakery and he lifts heavy sacks of flour all the time. So he is, despite his appearance, he is actually very strong.
Yeah, very strong.
And he does show off that skill just because at that point in the film, he's appearing so weak in front of the other tributes who some of the other tributes from the other districts, their district actually wins often. So they're actually able to train these kids from a very early age. I think it's District 1 or something. No?
Yeah, District 1, they are, like, these kids are chosen when they're small.
Yeah.
And then trained until this point.
Yeah.
Which, like, is weird. I mean, it's a dystopia, so obviously shit's weird.
Yeah.
There is a character I forgot to mention, and you have the IMDb page pulled up.
I do.
Who plays Rue?
Rue. Oh, yes, Rue. Rue's played by... oh, wow. I have her picture on IMDb. Wow, she has grown up. Holy shit. I have not seen her since Hunger Games. She's grown up. Her name is Amandla, not Amanda, Amandla Stenberg. And
okay.
Yeah.
That's who I thought played.
Yeah, she's... And she actually just recently turned 22. Her birthday is in October.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish you could see her picture right now, Jay. She has grown up. She's not that little girl no more. She's grown up into a woman. It's kind of interesting to see.
I can think of something that I've seen her in, like, not super recently, but within the last several years. And yeah, she did grow up, and she does still act.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah. But Rue is a character that it is a character that we as the audience are very sympathetic with, because she develops this relationship with Katniss, this friendship. Katniss sort of tries her best to protect Rue, because Rue's the youngest tribute, I believe.
Yeah, she's the youngest.
The youngest tribute to survive, like, the first day, because half the tributes die, like, within the first hour of everything.
Oh yeah, some of the more experienced, better trained tributes just wipe out like half the other ones in the initial release into the dome. Yeah. And Rue's like she's in there with her brother. The male tribute from her district is her brother, but they can't stick together the whole time. They get separated right off the bat. But thankfully, Rue's very good at hiding, and she can climb trees, so she's got that advantage. But yeah, no, Rue is kind of like a young sister step in for Katniss while they're in the Hunger Games. Which I'm sure having Rue there, you can tell Rue's a bit of a motivation for Katniss, and Rue looks up to her as a
I think it's a reminder that she did this for her sister, and here's this little girl that probably reminds her a lot of her sister.
To go back to Hamish real quick, what I was getting at with him earlier was that he doesn't teach them to fight; he teaches them how to win over the crowd. Because as we mentioned earlier, if you getting sponsors is an important thing in this game, because if you get sponsors, they will send down these capsules on little parachutes, cute little parachutes, and they will send down
like weapons and supplies.
Medicine. Medicine is usually what happens mostly because they supply them with weapons in the dome, but additional stuff like food, water, stuff like that. And that's how. And Katniss, despite her social shortcomings, she does make a good impression. And even inside the Hunger Games, like her relationship with Rue and the star-crossed lovers thing that Peeta started, this helps Seamus convince people to give him money so that he can send them in medicine and stuff like that. And I like that, where he's because Hamish, he's obviously it's Woody Harrelson, so it's been decades since he was a Hunger Game contestant.
Right.
And he studies the game. He understands it's not
realistic about what you actually need to survive this thing.
Yeah. And I like that about that character. Once again, I like they didn't go with I'm going to teach you kickboxing in the ancient style of Dragon Claw, and we'll rip out your fucking heart.
You just got to make people like you.
Make people like you. Shoot a lot of arrows, and stay away from the one jackass from District 1, because he's got a sword. He's really good with it. Speaking of other tributes, this is interesting, because it's interesting now because of the past year. But one of the other tributes, named Marvel, Marvel, is played by Jack Quaid, and Jack Quaid plays Huey on The Boys.
Oh,
yeah. I was watching the movie, right? Because he wasn't really known. He's known now. The Boys. He's he's
right. But he wasn't known for this.
Yeah,
He just plays one of the bad characters in the dome.
He was just Dennis Quaid's son who was in movies. So that's really true. That's his son. That's Dennis Quaid's son.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just find that fun. Yeah, I just found that interesting. Oh, okay. He's gone on to do stuff. The Boys, obviously. I really enjoy The Boys. Watch it as it's coming out. Good show. But yeah. So let's talk about because this movie is obviously a lot about social commentary. I think it's just, and it does it in a good way. It's obvious, but it's not. I don't mean it's obvious in a way where it shoves it in your face. The social commentary is obvious because it's done well, and it weaves well into this world and story. It's a class system social commentary. The rich are up here and they keep the poor poor, and the you got the people in the higher ups convincing the poor districts, this is where you belong. This is what you guys are. You rebelled against us. We're the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
You owe us to us now to do this. And we'll put you in the Hunger Games to remind you of your position. But hey, if you win, we're nice. We'll give you stuff. It's just it's nicely done in my opinion. Jay, I assume.
Yeah, it's very nicely done. It's a common trope in a lot of dystopian literature, and it is done very well here.
Yeah.
And it's seen throughout the entirety of the Hunger Games.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I didn't understand the manipulation of the Hunger Games and how it all works. But as I've gotten older, it's been 8 years now since this movie came out. I understand it a little bit. Oh, okay, I see how this works. I see why it's been working for 75 years. I see why now. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, it's good. I think that's a good thing because once again, this is a movie made for well, they call them young adults, but it's teenagers through college age. And I think
high school.
Yeah. And I think a story like this is something good where they don't realize, it's one of those things where you're being kind of fed information, but you don't realize it because it's woven into a good story with interesting characters, and a recognizable world, but still alien at the same time.
Yeah, and I think books like this do a good job of bringing young people. It creates an attachment with these characters who are the same age as you while you're reading these books, and it invokes an emotional response because you're right. If you're reading this book, and things might make you uncomfortable, and that's where you get these ideas that something is that's happening in this book is not right. Especially in terms of the class struggles that occur and the manipulation that is the entirety of the Hunger Games. Like I said, sacrifice is a really good word for tribute. The population control and things that you don't really understand when you're younger, and then you come back as an adult and you're like, this is why this made me uncomfortable, because it's a reflection of this. And this series does a really good job of that in general, both the book and the movie.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if there are people, like yourself, you read the books and you saw the movies. I'd be surprised if it's had a big influence on how they are now with, as I don't want to get into modern politics, but we have become a very political, right now. Once again, don't want to get into details, but I wouldn't be surprised if these movies and books influence how some people are interpreting what's going on in our world right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. For something that's just supposed to be a big money grab for the studios, because things are done so well, believable and all that. Power of movies done, with an interesting story in their way, really have an influence on you.
Yeah.
I've definitely had stuff that's influenced me over the years. Sometimes I didn't realize it was influenced me, and I look back later, I'm like, oh, that's why I like that. Oh, okay, that's
that happens a lot.
Or that's why I don't trust these kind of people.
But the media that's doing its job. There's a theme to this overall series, and clearly for us to be speaking of the movie the way that we are, it's done its job to teach us what it was trying to teach us. Yeah.
All right. So we'll talk about the ending real quick, because so we get to the end. It's down to Katniss, Peeta, and the one guy from District 1, who I can't remember his name. I'm not even going to bother. He's the top. He's the top. He's the most dangerous tribute in the games this year, undoubtedly. He's the guy from District 1 that's been trained since he was a kid.
Yeah, he has a sword.
Yeah, and the guy with a sword. And they volunteer for tribute in District 1 because they're trained, right? Is that right? Yeah. And,
yeah, I mean, yeah, they would volunteer is the process, but like they're chosen. So they don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Is my assumption. Because I can only imagine what would happen to you if you refuse.
Yeah, especially since, once again, because they are like this, District 1 wins all the time, and they're probably the best off district. But he has this moment where he has Peeta in a headlock, and he's going to like stab him with a sword if, Katniss has got her bow, and she's got it drawn, right? And he's all bloody because he's kind of been fighting his way through the last tributes and those big old fucking dogs. And he says this line, he's like, I just realized I've always wanted to die. He has this moment where he has like this moment of honesty with himself, where like he's suicidal in a weird way, because
he's never really lived the life. His life has never really been his own. He's been used by his district as a weapon, and he lost his humanity along that process. So he doesn't have any idea of what life outside of that is.
No. Yeah.
So he can't imagine it. Like, he clearly went into this, like, no matter how prepared he was, just like everyone else that went into the Hunger Games, this kid went into this expecting to die.
Yeah.
And not knowing any alternative.
Yeah. He probably never thought about what if he did win.
Yeah, what if I win?
What do I do with my life afterwards? I have no other purpose.
Because you have to live with yourself, too.
Yeah.
And everything that you did.
Yeah, and that's why Hamish is so fucked up. Hamish obviously has some kind of PTSD or something.
I mean, I think anyone would, yeah.
Yeah, especially at a young age. But then he like snaps back into it. It's like, wait, no, I'm gonna fucking win. Like, it's like he like the programming snaps back in because he's But thankfully, Katniss nails him in the hand with an arrow. Peeta gets out. He falls back. The dogs start ripping him apart. Right, and Katniss gives him a mercy killing with one last, arrow.
Mm-hmm.
She takes a little long. If I'm going to be honest, that moment, like they're kind of like looking down at him, and they're waiting like a good 5 seconds before Katniss even like lifts her fucking arm to pull back.
Doesn't he he mocks Rue's death though?
He does.
Fuck that dude. I also would wait a minute, like, because Rue's like a child, like they're teenagers. Rue's a child. Like, have a little fucking empathy for this kid.
Yeah.
And like, obviously her death was a pivotal point in the game too, because that's also the point where District 11, which is the district she's from, District 11 has a riot and they revolt, which is quieted down. But to quiet people down, it's decided that 2 people can survive only if they're from the same district.
Right. But then at the end, after it's down to Katniss and Peeta, and they think, "Oh my God, did we do it? We're the last 2, and we're both from the same district. We both get to live." And they're suddenly like, "Oh!" And then the guy comes over the PA speaker. Just kidding. We changed our minds.
One of you has to kill the other side.
No happy ending for you two, dickwads. Get out. Yeah. Start standing. And Peeta's just like, because he's Peeta. He's just like, just do it, Katniss. Take me out.
Just kill me.
Yeah. And then Katniss pulls out the poison berries that they collected earlier from the one smart chick who was like surviving on her smarts, but she didn't know about the berries. She knows a lot of things, but she don't know berries.
She don't know berries. She ain't died.
But to be fair, her intelligence is more in a mathematical kind of way. Anyway, they take them out and like, we'll eat them at the same time to show that they don't control us. Because Peeta says that earlier. He says, I just don't want them to control me.
Right.
That's his moment. That's like one of his moments of honesty. It's like, listen, I'm playing the game, but I don't, I want to, if I'm going to play it, I want to play it my way, if there is a way, And they're about to both like do a double suicide. And then, real quick, right over the PA speaker, like, oh, wait, hold on. We change your mind. You guys can you're supposed to say, this is tough Wednesday!
Yeah, because
drop the fucking berries!
If they both eat these berries, it's gonna just reveal a lot about the Hunger Games that they don't want revealed. Like how controlled it is and
yeah, and this leads to like certain characters who Crane, who was running the Hunger Games, he is forced to commit suicide when he's put in a room, and the only thing in the middle of the room is the berries that Katniss and Peter were going to eat, so he's out. He's dead. The president's kind of like taking over now, and that will lead us, into the events of the second Hunger Games movie, Catching Fire, which that movie's all about the counter response from the Capitol to this past year's Hunger Games, and the Peeta and Katniss having to living with the consequences of their decision that blows up into something much bigger than they ever intended or even thought of. They were honestly just thinking about themselves.
Yeah, they were honestly just trying to survive, and it starts a whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so the Hunger Games, really cool YA dystopian movie. I would still say that it's probably we'll get into this more as things go on, but I think still the most successful YA dystopian franchise that there has been. You got the Divergent one and you got Maze Runner, but I never felt like, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm not really a big fan of those. And,
I had a really good friend that loved the Divergent series, but again, I agree. I don't remember them being as popular as the Hunger Games. This was definitely the most popular one we've had. Obviously we don't read, I don't think either of us read YA novels right now, so I'm not sure if there's anything super popular right now. But this is like the last big YA series that I remember blowing up the way that it did.
Yeah.
In both book and film. Yeah,
because Maze Runner finished up a year or two ago. I think they did their last movie a year or two ago.
I thought that was a one and done.
No, there was more.
I literally thought they just did the first Maze Runner and then that was it.
No, they did like 3 of them. Like the second one came out a couple years later, and then the third one got delayed because the actor who plays the main character in that he actually injured himself on set, and they had to postpone the rest of filming for like a few months or something. He's fine. He like broke an arm or something, right? Sucks. But it wasn't anything lethal or something.
That's good.
And then the Divergent series, I only saw the first one, Divergent, and I think the second one's called like Insurgent or something. I don't remember. All I remember was like I saw the first one. I was like, okay, not bad. And then I just never got. And I remember the idea that each one, I think each one like did worse than the previous. Like they didn't do horribly, but it wasn't like.
It wasn't great.
It didn't do Shailene Woodley any favors. Who, oddly enough, I remember when Shailene Woodley from Divergent series, when she first hit the scene, people were saying she's the next Jennifer Lawrence. She's the new young hot.
She's weird and eats clay and was on The Secret Life of the American Teen, which
I remember that
is a fucking trash ass television show. Fuck that TV show. I don't care that Molly Ringwald was on it.
I remember seeing commercials for that, and I was like,
stupid ass TV
every
show.
Teenage character on that show looks too pretty. Like they took extra care.
Also, like, it gave absolutely horrible life advice to teenagers, like horrendous.
Yeah. Well, that was also during like the height of like another teenage trend, the height of the knocked up girls trend. Remember? Because you had that, and you had MTV Moms or whatever the fuck, or Teen Moms on MTV.
What the fuck is wrong with people? Like, why did they give that an audience? Like, I don't understand. I really don't. We do it to ourselves, you guys.
Because it's not music television; it's maniac television. They just find people who are dramatic.
It's not even just MTV though. Like Lifetime has movies about teenagers.
They had
TLC had shows about teenagers getting knocked up. Like it was a trend, and it's like, why is this a fucking trend?
Yeah, like if you're a teenager and you actually get knocked up, hey,
you know what's a trend?
Yeah, get off the trend. You're not a bad person.
Painting
You're
like
not a bad person.
one of your nails a different color is a trend. Dye your hair is a trend. Yeah. You know, sequins are a trend. Getting pregnant at 15 is not a trend. Like, why?
I remember there was an episode of Law and Order SVU where they had found these bunch of teenage girls who were getting knocked up by like this weird homeless guy, and when they confronted one girl, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be a mom. I'm gonna have a little baby. It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah,
and you could tell, like, she has no idea her entire life is dramatically altered. Like
there was a lot based off of a true story.
Yeah, right.
In which
the pregnancy
four girls made a pact that they were going to get pregnant together, and they were all in the same high school. I don't know why.
It was a Lifetime. They made it into a Lifetime channel movie. It was called The Pregnancy Pact.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was. And
I think they also made it. It's definitely an episode of the Grey's Anatomy spinoff, Private Practice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. It's a spinoff episode.
Oh, okay. Well, that's sad. I mean, it's just sad that.
That's what I mean. I was like, how is this? What?
I don't watch a lot of Lifetime channel stuff, I'll be honest, but from what little I've seen,
I don't.
Lifetime channel should never take any real world event or issue or story. You miss what?
I just miss Dance Moms. That's it. I'm pretty sure that was Lifetime.
Yeah.
Dance Moms is great. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, but anyway, Lifetime channel should never make any movies out of anything that's a real world event, issue, or story, because they're not the best writers on Lifetime channel. And I know that because every year they make a new Christmas movie, and it's the same fucking Christmas.
Okay, listen, at least they make one Christmas movie that's the same movie. It's not the Hallmark channel that makes... Here's 25 new Christmas movies that are the same movie.
Yeah, Hallmark and their Christmas movies. Two attractive white people in their late 20s, early 30s fall in love over Christmas. I'm serious, look it up.
I have a friend that is like obsessed with Hallmark Christmas movies. And I still don't know how I feel about it. Like, it's both adorable and unsettling.
Well, if they like them in an ironic...
It's one of those things. It's like...
Do they love them in an ironic way, or do they love them straight up? Like, they think they're actually well-made films?
I don't think they think they're well-made films.
Oh, okay.
I think they're just feel-good films, and that they really like the Christmas holiday.
Okay.
But like,
we got way off track, by the way. Did you?
We did.
What the fuck?
We did.
But anyway,
the holidays are clearly on our brains.
Yes. But anyway, we'll finish up then. But yeah, Hunger Games, still a good movie. I still like it.
Yeah, I really like it.
If you need to switch up, you need to watch something that's older but not too old, I recommend you check it out. You can, if you're having trouble finding, it's not on any of the streaming sites that we have. If you find it on it, good. If not, then just do what I did. I think I've mentioned this before. Order one from your local library. Yeah, that's what I do for a lot of the movies I get nowadays. If I can't find it on streaming or whatever, I just rent it from the library. All right. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this episode of the POVincent podcast. Thank you to the River's Edge online radio station for hosting this. Thank you, Jay, for being my co-host.
Absolutely.
And if you want to help support the channel, well, you can do that in some simple ways. You can do that by starting to subscribe, follow, like, anywhere you're watching or listening to this. You can listen to us on Libsyn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. You can watch us on YouTube. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We got all three. And if you want to financially support us, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/POVincent. However, if you don't have the money right now, holy shit, we understand. Yeah. Liking, subscribing, following, that kind of stuff is really helpful right now. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you for taking a look through my point of view. Take it easy.